Okay. Hi, everyone. Good morning. Thanks so much for joining me this morning and investing time over your summer in your own professional development. It means a lot that you're here. Today's webinar is part of our Summer 2022 series on engaging literacy activities. This is mostly focused on elementary school, although sometimes some of the ideas could definitely be applied to older students, especially maybe who are in a more mod severe setting and need to work on more basic skills. But mostly this is focused on elementary school and can be applied to general education as well as special education settings. Of course, I am from the Department of Special Education, and so a lot of what I talk about will be focused on special education placements and supports. So today I'm going to talk about independent literacy activities. And I'm Tiffany Rao, in case I didn't say that. And here are the links to the slides. Let me try to copy this. So you can either, I'm going to put this in the chat and you can access it that way, or you can go ahead and put your phone up to the QR code and get to the slides that way. So I'll wait a couple of seconds. And if you are joining us on a recorded version of this webinar, you can still access the slides through the QR code. All right. I see a couple of people just joined, so let me put it in the chat one more time. It doesn't show up in your chat if you are here after I put it in the chat, so I'll probably put it in the chat a couple more times if we have more people. Okay. All right, so I want to talk first about the purpose of independent literacy activities. Basically, today I'm going to give you a whole bunch of ideas for what students can do when they're working on their own during reading instruction. You see this pretty much universal in special education classrooms, either SDC or RSP, and you also see it in the lower grades of general education classrooms. So most reading researchers agree that 90 minutes of focused, uninterrupted reading instruction per day is required for students in grades K through 3 to gain the literacy skills that they need to become readers. In grades 4 through 6, the recommendation is still 90 minutes per day, but at that point, it can be integrated into other content areas. So you might cover some reading instruction during social studies or science. And this optimum amount of time is associated with the greatest reading gains. And it's especially important for our struggling readers or readers who look to be at risk for reading failure or not learning to read without a lot of extensive support. So the universal challenge for teachers is, how do you provide 90 minutes of reading instruction when you are running multiple small groups? You have students at all different levels and students who have difficulty focusing for long periods of time. And the answer is running your small groups and having some students work independently while you work with a small group, and your aide is maybe working with a small group, and then you guys are rotating. So like I said, you're going to see that in just about every SDC class. You will see generally 3 groups, but it depends on the students. 3 groups where it's teacher, instructional aide, and an independent group. Now, you want to make sure that independent group is doing something they can do independently and is going to be really beneficial, is going to really be something that counts as reading practice and reading instruction. So we want to get away from worksheets. I am not anti-worksheet, I'm anti-only worksheets. So we shouldn't be doing worksheets for independent activities all the time, every day. First of all, you're going to lose your students' focus. That's going to feel like work to them, and it's going to be boring, and they might have difficulty completing it without help or staying focused on it without a lot of support. So instead of only worksheets, you want to integrate things that feel like fun, things that feel like games, hands-on types of activities. So that's what I'm going to share with you today. But like I said, I'm not anti-worksheets. So some students love worksheets, and sometimes it really makes the most sense for students to sit down with a pencil and paper and just do some good focused practice. So that's totally fine. We just don't want to over rely on that. And it's the same thing also in an RSP setting. So you might have students coming to you who get 45 minutes of RSP reading instruction, but you have a whole bunch of students that you're servicing. And maybe some of those students that are coming to you for 45 minutes only have about a 20-minute attention span. So again, you're going to be rotating those students, and they might be with you and then with your aide, and then doing some independent work. Now, kind of a side note, but it's related to what I'm talking about. If you are teaching RSP, and let's say you have a student coming to you for 30, 45 minutes a day for reading instruction, you want to make sure they are still getting the rest of the 90 minutes in the general ed setting. Because sometimes the gen ed teacher thinks, oh, they go to RSP, they get all their reading instruction in RSP. If that's the case, then they're only getting half, less than half. I had to do some quick math there, of the recommended minimum amount of reading instruction. So they would actually be getting less reading instruction than the kids who don't have IEPs and are not struggling reading. And that's struggling readers. And that's opposite, right? Our students need more intensive instruction and sometimes even more time. So that's just a side that I want you to keep in mind. If you are an RSP teacher, make sure they're getting the 90 minutes total and not only getting 30, 45 minutes that you're giving them. Okay. All right, so let's get into some of these different ideas really quick. I'm going to put the slides in the chat one more time. We had a couple of people join since I put those in. So you can access these slides in the link in the chat. Okay. Anybody recognize these? I'll just show you. I love them in my house. These are from Daiso, and this is my little desk trash can. They're so cute, and they're only $1.50. So 4 of these little trash cans from Daiso, and then just a bunch of cards to sort. So this is sight word sorting. So simple, and very, very individualizable. So these are like some sight words to the at go, but you could make more advanced sight words if they are at a more advanced level. You could make it just matching letters if they're not reading sight words yet. You could have it matching sounds. So maybe you have M, A, T, and S, and then words that start with M-A-T-S, and they have to sort it. A lot of different ways that you could go here. You could do word families. You could do consonant blends. So this is so simple and really customizable. And this is something that you could very much, very easily have your instructional aide prepare, or a parent volunteer. If you've got a parent who's really wanting to help out and you're not sure what to give them, this is something that somebody could prepare at home, just writing out all of these cards or printing them out or whatever. And by the way, I put the person, or I gave credit to where I found these photos. So some of these I did in my own class, but some of them I didn't. But here is where I found the photos online. You can check out their Instagrams. These are really great Instagram accounts to check out. Okay, I really like this one. So this is a muffin tin and some magnetic letters. And so you could practice 4-letter words or turn it and do 3-letter words. I'm not sure how you would get more advanced than this. So this one is probably really for the younger grades, kindergarten and 1st grade. But I want to point out how many skills are being addressed here. It looks so simple, but for one thing, they're hopefully reading the word. These would always be words that you have introduced and practiced, right? You never introduce new stuff in the independent activities. This is practice. So these are words you've introduced. So they are going to look at the word, read it, and then spell it out. You are also looking at one-to-one correspondence, if that's one of their math goals. And then in this example, it is matching uppercase, lowercase to uppercase. So if they're ready for that, cool. I love packing a punch with one activity and covering multiple skill sets. But if matching upper to lowercase is interfering with their ability to do the task, like it's too much, then just do lower to lowercase. And most likely you are teaching them to read in lowercase for the most part. So if you can get your hands on some lowercase magnetic letters, usually they're uppercase, but I would do that for kids who are really struggling. You don't want to pile too much on them. Okay, once again, I am putting the link to these slides in the chat for those of you who are just joining us. You can access them there. Okay, I really like this one. This is a letter hunt sensory bin. So you fill up this bin with sensory materials. For this one, they are using pom-poms and tinsel, like holiday tinsel. And then hidden all throughout there are these little letter cards. W, this person has a W, and then they've got bingo cards for the letters. So they've found W and they colored that in N, A. These are the cards they found so far, and they're all trying to get bingo. I love this one because it's sensory. So kids love that hands-on kind of sensory experience. And then very, very customizable. So you could do this. This is matching letters, but you could do this for matching words and word reading. You could do it for rhyming words. You could even do it for math problems. It doesn't just have to be literacy. You could do it for vocabulary. So I think this one is one that you could really customize to be more advanced as well. And even older kids still really enjoy the hands-on sensory experiences. So it's nice because one student could do this, just one by themselves, or it could be a group of students, but it doesn't necessarily have to be competitive. It's just trying to fill up your board or get a line, horizontal or diagonal match. Okay, and then this one is a fidget spinner challenge. Looking at it, I'm guessing this might have been a Teachers Pay Teachers example. So you could check out Atlanta Reading on Insta and see if they link up to this particular worksheet, but also you could create this yourself really easily. So the instructions say, place your fidget spinner over the image on the left, give it a spin, and see how many words you can read before it stops spinning. So you would want to test this out yourself and make sure it's not impossible to reach the end, but very individualized. You can add whatever words you happen to be working on in your small group, and then you send them to do this in the independent activity. You might need an aide to oversee the activity if they get too wild with the fidget spinners. But otherwise, I think this is a really fun one that would feel very game-like. And what I would do is have them keep a little sheet of paper next to them. And so once they get to however many words they've read, put their finger on it or put a coin on the last word that they read, and then count and record how many they read. Then try again and see if they can get a little bit farther. So they're trying to beat their own best score. This is great for fluency. It's great if you're trying to increase the speed at which students are reading. Again, these are words you would have practiced a lot, and now you want them to get more fluent in reading it. So great fluency activity. All right, and then these, I used to get these at, I think the 99-cent store, Dollar Tree. They're those little, I forget what they're called, but they have the little pen that is connected to them. It's not an Etch-a-Sketch. Maybe it's similar. But anyways, you don't use Sharpies. The kids don't use the Sharpies. The Sharpies are here to show you that you prepare them with the Sharpies. So you add the top, bottom, and dashed line to these. And now, boom, these are a center. You can give kids a list of words to practice writing on these little boards, or letters. If they're practicing writing their name, if it's kindergarten, you can do that. Again, very customizable. You can make this smaller for kids who have a little bit more advanced writing. You don't have to make it quite so big. You can put 2 lines. So a lot of different ways that you can go, and kids always love using these boards. Okay, I really like this one. And again, this looks maybe like a Teachers Pay Teachers, but you could make this yourself so easily. A spoonful of words, and you could just use white plastic spoons and write different letters on them. And so they put the spoon in front of a word and make different words: pat, pet, pip. And don't worry if you're making nonsense words, because that is another reading skill that's important for students to master, especially to avoid students over relying on context clues to read. And then it's more guessful reading where they're guessing a lot. So nonsense words are great to avoid that habit and increase their reading. So you could also do just this for more advanced levels by maybe putting a CH, a BR, consonant blends. You could do possibly word families with lots of different spoons, a lot of different ways that you could go with this. Okay, now this one, the students have to be able to read. It's not just matching here. So it's the words right here on this card that the teacher created: bus, bag, 10, and so forth. And now they have to recreate this tower with the correct illustrations that match. So really a great brain activity, because they've got to match, they've got to copy the tower and make sure that it is accurate. And then you or an aide could very quickly check over this, let them know, oh, these two, you've got some that are mixed up, or check this one again so that they can correct it. You could get really advanced with these as students get older. They still enjoy copying, making a tower, doing hands-on activities. So you could put more advanced words as long as you can find a simple picture to print out to illustrate the word. Okay, now this is a magnetic board. So simple. So this would just be copying the spelling. So words that they're working on, maybe word families, or it looks like they're working on long vowels here, and then magnetic letters. And then they just have to put the magnetic letters in the shape. I just read the word shape, in the same order as the word. Again, you can make this a lot simpler. You can make it more advanced. And I also like the idea of doing math problems this way, also getting some number magnets, and you could have, 1 plus 3, and then they've got to find the answer to put here. And then I always love a dramatic play corner, and these can actually be very small, not have to take up very much space. You don't necessarily have to have costumes and wigs or even puppets. You can just put some small things together. So this was a really cute one I found for the 3 Little Pigs. They have 2 different version books here of the 3 Little Pigs, and they've got a little basket of sticks, a little basket of shredded paper for the hay, and a basket of Legos for the bricks. And then they've got these little pink pegs that represent the pigs. And then they have some, and a brown one for the wolf, or they can use little plastic pigs and a plastic wolf. So that's a great way for students to go a little bit deeper with their comprehension by acting out book either with a peer or just by themselves. Okay, this one, hole punch the alphabet. So as you can see down here, this is supposed to be a snail. It looks like a turtle to me, but there's the letter S, so it's a snail. And they're going to find it's an uppercase S, all the lowercase S's, they need to hole punch them. So that's great for fine motor as well as matching. Again, you can customize this for whatever skill you're working on, but hole punches can be difficult, right? Even my hand hurts a little bit after I've done a lot of hole punching. So if your students don't have the muscular strength for it yet, it's a great way to build up the muscular strength. But if they're getting sore or they just can't do it yet, then you could staple. Sometimes stapling is a little bit easier as long as the student's able to be safe with a stapler, or you could use stamps. So if it's fine motor isn't a goal that you want to address here, you can just have them stamp the lowercase letters or whatever it is that you're matching. Okay, this is, if you've all seen these, right? They you can find these Lego type bricks for pretty cheap. And here is a way to do conjunctions. I'm sorry, I'm losing my train of thought, but is not to isn't, do not to don't, all of that. So that's really fun. You could just have this in a bin or a basket all taken apart, and then the students put it together, and it should mostly be doable for most students. These aren't too difficult to put together. Okay, now I'm going to talk about open-ended writing centers. You see open-ended writing centers in a lot of preschool and kindergarten classes, but they can be really great for older classrooms as well. The benefits of an open-ended writing center. What do I mean by an open-ended writing center? First of all, it's when at its simplest, it's a table with some fun different types of paper, some fun pens and pencils, and then students can do whatever they basically choose to do at that center. You can structure it more and give them a little assignment, or if you have young students or students who are reluctant to write, then the goal might just be to make writing more fun. They can do it at their own level. It's very, very individualized, easy to individualize. So the benefits are it's easy prep, allows for student-led or student-centered practice. It's easy to update based on themes or current read alouds that you're doing, easy to incorporate student interests, and it's differentiatable. It encourages use of different writing tools and types of paper. Skills addressed in a writing center might include writing their names, if that is a goal, or they can also practice writing peer names, family names, pet names, tracing, drawing shapes, writing or tracing alphabet letters, writing high frequency words or word families, writing and illustrating stories, drawing pictures and dictating a story to a teacher or a peer, and independent practice of skills taught. Those are the simplest skills that it can address, but you can also make it something more advanced where they are editing a short story that they wrote. So the materials that you can get for your writing center would include any of these. So you definitely are going to need some type of paper and writing utensils. But beyond that, you can get lined paper, unlined paper, graph paper, construction paper. I always like to include some folded paper so that they can maybe write some cards to somebody. Blank books, you can just make those really simple. Post-it notes. My students always loved Post-it notes for some reason. Cut out hearts or shapes. That makes it kind of fun. Also stencils and stamps, fun pencils, pencil sharpeners, fun pens, crayons, markers. The point is to allow them to choose whatever they like. So whatever they're comfortable, if they want to write sentences using crayons, cool. They're writing, right? It's getting them to write. You might also include some stickers. If you have some students who are very, very low in writing, you just want them to get pencil to paper and then decorate it with stickers. So it doesn't have to be an advanced thing at all. It can just be getting them a little bit excited about writing and seeing that they can put their own print, whatever, in whatever way that is, onto paper. This is also a great place to put worksheets for your students who do enjoy doing worksheets. You can have some fun ones for them to choose from, might have some notebooks. You can include a dry erase board and markers, chalkboards and chalk, magnetic boards and letters, envelopes, stapler, hole punch, erasers, highlighters. Graphic organizer might include a dictionary and a thesaurus. And then also I see a lot of writing centers that include like writing process posters. Whatever you're working on with students, you can put the poster up to help remind them of the writing process. And I would put a writing center, a poster of the rules for the writing center. So if you want it to be a quiet place, then you would say, you know, this is a no talking zone, or this is a whisper zone. No writing on yourself, no drawing on yourself with markers, that sort of a thing. So some different activity ideas. Like I said, you can just put these materials out and let students really lead their own writing practice, or you can structure it a little bit more. So you can have some themed writing where, let's say it's fall and maybe you have some pumpkin shaped paper and some fall words for them to copy onto the pumpkin shaped paper. Or you can make this an extension from any current science or history topics. You can have them write a letter. Maybe they're going to write a letter to one of the teachers in the classroom or one of the teachers at school, write a letter to the principal, write a letter to their family or to other students. Hidden Hearts is an activity that I just love. And it's when you cut out, I think I have some. Yep, I have some because I just did an in-person workshop where we did this. So Hidden Hearts, you just cut out a bunch of hearts from construction paper. So you can have these in the writing center. And what students do for this particular Hidden Hearts activity is they write an affirmation. So you might have some really simple affirmations that they could copy, things like, you got this, you're awesome, you know, you're cool, you can do anything. Just like words to pump each other up, and they would write it on a hidden heart and then they get to hide it somewhere. So they could hide it in the classroom. Maybe you have them take a hidden heart up to the library when you guys all go to the library, and they can hide one in the book stacks. They could hide them in the office. So it's really fun. It feels kind of almost mischievous because they're hiding these little notes. So that's a great way to address like kindness, but also get a little bit of writing practice in as well. And then if you've been practicing writing a particular poem using a template, you can include that, or maybe some journal prompts. And structuring the writing center, like I already said, you can make it student-led and open-ended, or maybe they're required to complete an independent assignment, complete a worksheet, and then they can freely choose what to do with the rest of their time. And you can make it flexible. Maybe sometimes it's independent and sometimes it's a small group teaching space, or sometimes it's a place where they're going to work on an assignment in a quiet area. It doesn't always have to be the same. So here are some examples of writing centers. They really can range. They don't have to take up a lot of space. Like here's a nice, just little organizing bin of pencils and markers and highlighters and erasers and Post-it notes. And maybe you have a couple of stacks of different types of paper next to it. And so this could really be on just like one table this size in a corner of your room. Or you can make it a little bit bigger Here's a seating area for 2 students, and then they've got a whole bookcase full of writing center materials. They've got the cursive alphabet up here, if you can see that. And then something here, maybe some student work or writing process prompts, things like that. Okay, now let's talk about reading spaces. So your literacy activity centers can include the ideas that I shared before, where maybe you have a bunch of bins of different independent hands-on activities that support their reading. You might have that. You might also just have a reading space or a reading nook. I'm going to give you some different examples of how to organize that. And then you have your writing center, so that students might be going to a different type of center each day. Maybe Monday they do a reading hands-on literacy activity. Maybe Tuesday they go to the writing center. Wednesday is silent reading in a reading space. So here is a very common example that I see in classrooms, and this is great. This seems to work very well. So it's a little bit blurry, but I'm guessing just based on what I usually see. Up here are themed books in bins. It could be organized by author. If you have a lot of books by the same author and students love Eric Carle or they love the Harry Potter books, then you can put them all in a bin so they're easy to find. Up here might be your current read alouds or some books that you've recently read aloud so that students can grab that and reread it to themselves. And then down here would be more of the miscellaneous books that don't necessarily fit into a theme. These could also be like books about science, books about bugs. It doesn't have to be author. You can categorize them any way that makes sense to your students. And then it looks like down here they have several dictionaries and maybe some reference books. Here's a few more ideas for creating a reading nook or a reading space. This is super cute. Okay, you're going to find so many cute ideas online. You already know this, but some of them are just not realistic. So this is one that I feel like would have caught my eye as a teacher, but then getting into it, like, do you really want to be installing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of these shelves in your classroom, and is it allowed? So it's super cute. It probably, you could do it for fairly cheap, but it would be a lot of labor in my opinion. This one I think is really cute, very simple. You wouldn't have to buy anything. Most classrooms have a bookcase. Maybe you find some pillows. Maybe you buy some cheap pillows or just get some people to donate them to you. So this is cute because it's simple, easy to do. It's inviting. And then I love the addition of somewhere soft to sit. And let's see, this idea in the middle, I really like that too. They've used a decal on the wall. Those are fun. They're very easy to put on and take off as well. They don't do any damage. And then some chairs sitting organized around a little table right here. And then there's books and a plant on the table. So I think that's really cute. Looks really inviting. I love the twinkle lights. I see that a lot. And as you can see, it's we've got some seating nestled between these two types of bookcases and then some twinkle lights ahead. I think that would be fairly simple to do. Now this one's so cute, but look at how much work it would be. So they've got this like fireplace and a little bookcase on the bulletin board. Super cute. Couple of these beanbag type chairs and a table, and it looks like the bookcase over here. But again, that's going to be a lot of labor. So unless you have a parent volunteer who loves doing this, I personally wouldn't end up doing that. I just wouldn't have time. So some different reading center activities that you can do, of course, independent reading, but also you can set it up so that, oh, today you're going to read to a friend, or we have, our parent volunteer here and they're going to listen to you read aloud to them. You can have them read to a stuffed animal. Reading aloud is really, really great to help students become better readers. You might also have audiobooks available in the Reading Center. You could put that dramatic play idea at use in the Reading Center. Also, you can have students record themselves reading, or you could record yourself reading, and then they could listen to you read a book while following along in the book. Or, like I said, they could do it themselves and then a peer listens to them. And then you can also do some different fluency activities, some peer reading, peers taking turns reading one page at a time, kind of helps with fluency because it helps keep things going and keep things moving if they're ready for that. And then you can have a research center. So if you have any kind of a magazine subscription, like to Highlights or Scholastic News, or if you have a collection of old magazines, National Geographic, old encyclopedias, content books, some science books, social studies, you can put those in the research center along with maybe some graphic organizers and some paper. And then you would model how to read an article from a magazine and complete a graphic organizer or a prompt to summarize the article. So this wouldn't be for everyone. This might be for more advanced students. And then once they've completed the assignment of like maybe reading one article, either that you assign or they get to choose from, then they could do more open-ended kind of non-assignment based research for the remainder of the time. And they could just look at anything that interests them. If you have, books on animals, books on space, then they can just be free to pursue their own interests for the rest of the time. All right, now I have some literacy games to share with you. So these probably wouldn't start out independent. You might start this out by teaching these games in your small group. And then once the students really have the hang of it, then you can move it to the independent center. So these games are from Reading Rockets, and the link is up there. It's a really great website with a lot of research-based information, activities, ideas. There are some really good videos that you can watch in there of teachers teaching. I really like that website. So here's some variations of the game Memory, where you turn over 2 cards and you're trying to find a match and then clear the playing area. So you can do same words where they find a match, an exact match of the words, like here with ghost, or you can do it with word families, like here with dark and park, or you can do it with initial sounds with d and dog. So you can make these. Again, this would be a great thing for your aide or a parent volunteer to prep for you. And then another idea would be to play Go Fish or Old Maid, but you create the cards. So you are including words that you're working on in your reading groups with the students, and they have to find a match. And if it's Go Fish, you just play basic Go Fish. If it's Old Maid, then you'd also include some type of an Old Maid card in there. Okay, these are really simple puzzles, and you can apply it to so many different skills. So over here, it's matching uppercase to lowercase. We've got a couple of math ones right here where it's matching the number as well as the Spanish and English words, and then the number represented by dots. Same thing here. Or here is a rhyming one, bee, tree. A lot of different ways that you go with this. Consonant blends, word families, word reading, word matching. Some more like games or different activities that you can do. So this is just 2 small wooden blocks, and they added stickers to it. So the student would shake the dice. It's like shake the dice and then read the word that it makes. So that would be top. Down here, if they did this, you can see it would be fin. So that's really fun. You can, again, customize that to a lot of different levels. This one is so easy. I used to do this one as well. You just take a notebook and cut the pages into 3 parts. And now you've got a flip book to read 3-letter words. And then this one is really fun and easy to create. They would just, of course, twirl the circle and make different words that way. And then this one's fun, maybe for a springtime theme, where you take some of these plastic eggs and they make words from the eggs. And if you can see that, there's multiple letters on this side so that they can make different words. Okay, so some affordable places to purchase games and activities. First of all, I recommend any way that you can do it for free, please do it for free. I really don't like teachers spending a lot of their own money, but I know sometimes we do it. Definitely, it never hurts to ask your district if there is a budget where you can purchase some more literacy materials. But so some affordable places, I think the most affordable in my experience is Teachers Pay Teachers. Oriental Trading Company has really upped their game in more recent years on teacher supplies and educational activities. Amazon has so much, and also Target and Walmart. And we're almost at the end. So does anybody else have any other recommendations of places that are really affordable, or places you've been able to get things for free? Has anybody tried using an Amazon wish list? Anyone have any tips to share here?
I know about Amazon wish list, and I have a teacher who moved to Texas. Is teaching now 6th grade. She put her list on Amazon, and some people, she puts it on Facebook when she receives the book. And she says, "Thank you, whoever you are," because you can do it anonymously, or you can tell, I bought this for you. When I was doing my student teaching, I also tried something called, I think it's Twinkle, something like that. Sometimes you get free materials. Sometimes you have to pay, but it's not a lot of money, I think. But I definitely did use Teachers Pay Teachers, and I love it.
Yeah.
It is great.
It is. Even I use Teachers Pay Teachers sometimes when I just really need a worksheet and I don't want to create it myself, and it's, $2 or something like that. So yeah, thank you. Thank you for those recommendations. All right. So before before I wrap it up, thank you, Regina. Local buy nothing Facebook groups. Oh yes, I've heard about that. Connects with the community and see if people have items you want and or items that you want to donate. Great, great suggestion. Thank you. Any questions or comments before I wrap this up? And I'm going to ask you to take a survey. Any questions or comments or anything that you want to share?
I do have one more suggestion. I'm the community liaison right now at my district. And if you send a flyer and you tell, we are planning on, let's see, I've done this, a math class for parents, and I usually put on the bottom, we appreciate any donations of paper plates or yarn or things that we're going to use in the class. And you will be surprised at how many parents go to the meeting and they bring a lot of things. I actually had like 200 paper plates that someone sent me.
Wow.
And I still have them because, the parents were very generous.
Yeah.
So reach out to them, and of course, whenever I put it, I said, this is a suggested donation. You please feel free to just stop by the classroom. You do not need to bring donation. You need to make it kindly. I said, if it is if you would like. It's not like
right.
them, no. See if you would like.
Definitely. That's a great suggestion. And you're right. Parents really do like to give, to, contribute in any way that they can. And you want to be sensitive to, not all parents can afford to purchase something, but things like paper plates, yarn, you can get something like that for $1. That's something that might be affordable for a lot of parents. And then it's one less thing for you to pick up because it really adds up. Things look cheap, but then you get you get up to the register and you've spent so much money. So I love that. Just even asking for paper plates and things that would be very inexpensive, and it's less on you. What else? Oh, bookbox.com. Leslie, what's that?
Can you hear me okay? Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, okay. BookBox, I've used it in the classroom before, but basically they're audiobooks, and they have a myriad of languages. That's what's kind of interesting too. And the text lights up when you read it, and they're free. Although I was checking now, I guess they're selling some now, some audiobooks, but back in the day when I was doing it, they were totally free. They were in essence audiobooks. And then I know there's a lot of there's several websites that you can use out there. Oh gosh, I'm trying to think of the name of the one that I was using in my classroom years ago. Epic, that's the one. You can create a free Epic account, and that way you can have the kids do that in their literacy centers if you wanted to incorporate some audio reading as well. That doesn't cost anything, and the kids can choose their books. That's all very comprehensively based with different themes and so forth. So I mean, that's another one. I know there's a lot of technology. So if you don't want to break from technology, you can use Epic, create an Epic account for your students, or give them access to BookBox.
Awesome. Those are great suggestions. Thank you so much.
Another one, Dr. Rao, is if you go to the OC Department of Education website. I think I was there before the pandemic, even during the pandemic. You click on resources, but you have to really look into the website. There are some resources, and sometimes they are offering pamphlets that you can download. You can download them now, but in the past, you just I was searching by theme one time, and I found pamphlets for basic sounds and big sight words for kinder through, I think I did through third. And they sent me quite a few pamphlets that they had.
Nice.
Yeah. So, but you'd have to look in the website.
Do some searching, do some digging around. Yeah.
There are things in there you can also get for free.
Yeah. Oh, great. Thank you. I love hearing about these things that I wasn't aware of. I'm going to look into all of this. Thank you. All right. Anything else? Any questions? Okay, well, thank you so much for joining me this morning. And if you would please, I'm going to stop recording. And if you would, oh, hold on. We need to get that back up. 1 second. What happened? Okay. Sorry, guys. Thanks for your patience. Get back to that slide. Okay. Okay, so if you would please take this survey. I'm not even going to try to get it to the slideshow again, just from right here. Let me copy this link and I'll put it in the chat. So this helps us to ensure that we can continue to get funding to offer these professional development opportunities to you at no cost. So the link to the survey is in the chat, or you can put your phone over the QR code and take it that way. If you don't mind, just 2 minutes, take the survey, please. And I will be back next Saturday. The next topic is creating a classroom library that reflects your students. So if you're available, I'd love to have you join me again. And if not, that's okay too. Thanks so much for spending an hour with me this morning. And I hope you all have a good rest of your day.
I'm sorry, Dr. Rao, when is your next one in Zoom presentation?
Yeah, it is next Saturday,
Okay.
same time. And we also have you guys on August 6th in person. We're going to be on campus. 4 of our faculty will be presenting. You'll get a free goodie bag. So you can register for that at the same place you registered for this one. Also, so that's August 6th from 9 to noon on campus. Once you register, we'll ask you to confirm that you're coming, and then we'll tell you the exact place where it's going to be. And then my last webinar will be on August 13th, where I will show you how to set up an author's corner where you can highlight one author every month and really do kind of a deep dive into that author's work and their bio and things like that. So that's it. 2 more webinars and then the in-person day on August 6th. And the webinars will be the same Zoom link. So if you don't feel like registering again, you could just come back to this exact same Zoom link next Saturday and feel free to join.
I'll be in person at Fullerton next Saturday. I signed up for another one, but
oh yeah. Yeah, there are a lot of in-person ones. That one's not our department, but I'm sure it'll be really good.
Can you kindly remind us where we can find the recording of this particular session that we could perhaps share with some colleagues?
Yes. Leslie, were you the one that emailed me by any chance and asked me for last week's recording, or was that not you?
That wasn't me, but I'd
Oh,
be
okay.
interested as well.
All right. That I tried to send it and it kept getting sent back to me. So I'm like, oh, maybe that person, I can't remember who it was. So yes, let me just grab it from my bookmarks because we have a whole, is it showing up? We have a whole YouTube channel, and let me just copy it and put it in the chat where you can find our past webinars. And there's so much on here, you guys, so much on here. And then you can also find some of them because they don't always get uploaded super fast to the YouTube page. They eventually do. But if you want the more recent webinars, go back to where you registered. And you will see some of them are like register, and then some of them have a link that says recording, and if they're past, and then you can watch them that way. All right. Well, thanks again, everyone. I hope you enjoy your weekend and the rest of your summer. Just a few weeks left. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.